I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, anything that you want to discuss from yesterday, or shall I continue with today's topics? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, I'll start. Is there any way that I can minimize this? Okay, from yesterday's class, whatever I had, let me push them first. Chapter 2. Okay, I'll push it later. Okay, I'll continue. Okay, today I think I have organized whatever I have mentioned yesterday. Maybe I'll organize it again and push it so that you can prefer as well. Okay, next today's topic is going to be constructors and destructors. Okay, constructors and destructors. What are constructors and different type of constructors that we can have. Okay, so okay, so in this class, what I have done is I have taken or declared a class by name dummy. Okay, we can rename it. Okay, we can rename it to something else. Okay, we will rename it to any name that you guys want to give, so that I'll make changes. Or shall I continue with this?
You can give this constructor and destructor. I can understand.
Class name. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll rename the files as well to that. Okay. What is this? 2 minutes. Okay. I'll go through that later. Okay. So generally I think most of you know, like, we would have .h files and .c files separately. Okay. So here in generally when declaring classes, we would just define the prototype like what it is or the blueprint of how it looks or what things that we would like to offer to external world. We will just declare it in a .h file. Okay, and .cpp file is something that we would like to keep it private. Okay, so this will have the actual functionalities. Okay, I think even in your C, what you do, you would have some structure and the functions which will do something on top of that structure, or like something an interface that you would like to give to other applications or other CPUs, which can do some operations on this class or object. Okay, so so in a .h file, you just try to have a class and definitions and what are the functions that it's going to activities that it's going to do. Okay, so next, now what is a constructor? What is the syntax of it? So constructor is a member function of a class, or you would say like it's not a member function, it's like a default uh, function that a compiler should provide. If compiler doesn't provide, so we can declare and we can I mean compiler will default provide, but compiler will initialize as per whatever the data that you have given in this declarations. Okay, so if you want to overwrite it, right, then you can declare something like a parameterized constructors. Okay, or else you can declare a plain constructor, something like this. Okay, so you would call this. Okay, so default constructor. So the job of this constructor, okay, would generally to initialize the contents. Okay, what it will do? The generally should initialize the contents. Okay, so you would see there would be no return type. Okay, so generally when you write any functions, right, it won't have any return type uh, or to get the status as pass or fail. Okay, but in case of constructor, you would not have any return type, because you would see the moment a constructor is called, it means the memory for the objects are already created on stack or heap. Okay, I mean you would be given an enough space already, but they won't be initialized. So it is your job to initialize the already created variables. Okay, so initialize means whatever the value that you want to assign, 1, -1, plus, I mean 10, 20, or anything that you want to assign, you can uh, assign it through this constructor. Okay, I hope I'm clear, right, on this. Any questions on this? Okay, so I would repeat again,
Means
constructor
it
is
is working as a
a
local
code.
variable or what? Means,
Sorry, which one?
uh, now how it is working? This one, that initialization one. It is not a global, right?
See,
So locally only you can.
identity is a variable of a class. Okay.
Mhm.
So far I haven't created object of it. So the object where you will create in some CPP files. Okay. This
Mhm.
is my CPP file. Okay. I'll just correct this. Okay. This is my CPP file where I will create an object of this cons test. So now obj or object or instance, I created an instance of it. Okay. So if you are doing this, okay, then the object is created on stack. You know, right, the difference between stack and heap.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
That
if
stack is
go
that initialized value only stored in heap, right?
initialized can
Mostly.
see you have did you ever do dynamic programming in C? Dynamic memory allocations in C.
Yes, 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 yes. That
So what
malloc,
does
alloc, those
uh,
things, right?
correct.
Okay.
So what does malloc do?
Uh, it is a simplified the function.
Malloc
Means by using this malloc, you can simplify the
no
function.
malloc is used to create objects on heap. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, yes, yes.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so the objects whatever that you are creating, right, it will go and
Mm-hmm.
create in heap. Okay, whereas stack means it's already part of your application. Like if you build an application, if uska size is 3 MB, then all the functions are
Mm-hmm.
there, all the space are pre-allocated to it. But when you launch it and you say I want uh, more memory, right? So generally you would be given some 16 MB or 64 MB to execute. Okay, but in your application space is some 3 MB or 4 MB, right? Then you can ask the processor to give some more memory on which you will create objects. That is heap and all. Okay, maybe I'll cover that later. But anything that you declare
Okay.
inside a function, okay, these are the objects which gets created on your stack. Okay, so when I say this, so the object will be created on the stack. Okay, but the objects are created, but uska contents are not initialized. Okay, generally either देखो I'll actually remove this. Okay, okay. So if you look at this, right, this is a C way of writing or initializing the members. Okay. Now you want either you can declare some default value or you can build them, ask user for some input and fill the contents. Okay. Now let's see whether we can fill them by using getting a user input. Okay, and also remove this. So what I have is
Sir, mostly stack is contains that local variable, right? From the functions.
huh.
Yes.
So when you create
Uh,
a class,
mhm.
where is this getting created? It is a local variable, right?
Yes,
Whatever that
yes,
you have
yes.
inside a main is a local variable.
Hmm.
So this is a variable, okay, which has a lot of variables inside. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
it's just an object. Technically, I mean, in a different way, we say object, so that it implies it can have more than one variables inside. Okay,
Mhm.
so what did I do here? I created a okay. So you guys followed the syntax. So inside class, you would declare how you want to have a default constructor. Now, how would you define this? I mean, you have just declared how it is. Now, definition means you would generally write a CPP file. In the CPP file, you would say you would repeat the class name twice with the scope resolution operation here. Okay. So you would write the same class
Mhm.
name twice and you would repeat it. So inside this, you would say what you want to do. See, देखो, generally what we did earlier, you declared it to 0. some initialized to 0, right? Okay, and but you don't want it to be initialized to some 0. You can assume that you want user to enter something. Cin means like scanf that you have in C. You wanna scan the content, and you're going to ask user to enter some number, and you want to store it into it. Okay, so you want your user to enter some data into it. Okay, now that data is stored. So that's how you want to build your constructor. So this is just an option. It is not like you need to get an input, like you need to get via user. Okay, you can get it from a file, you can get it from some socket, or you can call some function C itself. Okay, either of this you can do. Some function you can call using which you can initialize this variable as well. Okay, so that is a reason you would write this in a constructor. So what you would do in C, right? You would declare a structure, then you would say structure dot उसका variable का नाम, what is the variable? So everything is public, right?
Identity, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So what you would do here? What would you do? You would say identity is equal to some function. This is how you do in your C. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever you are creating this object, right, you will always do this, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but to avoid all this, we will have some constructors. So you would not repeat the code again and again. Okay, it's just written almost every time. So using this, you can optimize a lot of your code, right? See, if you are in your C code, you have you have used this structure some 5 or 6 times, right? 5 or 6 times you need to write functions to initialize the contents, memset, memclear, assign some values and all. So now you can avoid them by declaring them at only one place. Okay, then number of lines will also be reduced. Okay, so this is what I wanted to have. Okay, now using this, we have initialized it. Okay, let's see, we will try to.
Means you are saying in C++, you can that whatever the static is working here, that function is working. Means once you created and hold the function, it will be work, right? Like that only you are saying.
So what I meant to say is you created an object, right?
Yes.
So whenever you create an
Once you
object, the necessary
hmm.
initialization functions that you wanted to call will be called.
Okay, whatever the initialized function that
Whatever
you
the
want.
initializations, a constructor
Yeah.
के अंदर
Mm-hmm.
whatever you write, right?
Okay.
So they all will be called. Okay, I'll show you. Okay,
Okay.
like I'll create an array of constructors. So when you create, I'll create an array of this. I'll create an array of this object by 10. So 10 times the constructor will be called. Okay.
Okay.
Someone else, I think, had a question. Did anyone else have any questions? We'll see. Let's see. Okay. Print value doesn't return anything, right? Sorry. Okay. Okay, what does print value do? Print value will just print whatever the contents that are here. Okay, let's compile this. What do I have here? Constant. So I'll make my build directory. See if there is anything wrong in this. Okay. Definition of implicitly declared destructor. Okay. So it got compiled. So the constructor, whatever that we declare got compiled, we'll run it. So const created. See, before I enter any value, it said constant got created. The object got created in stack. Now I'll enter some value 456. Okay, this 456 or any number I'll enter. It's an integer value. Okay, 7643. See, const dest print value. Okay, it just printed 7643. So whatever I have entered is stored inside that variable and printed. Then the object went out of scope. It got destroyed. So this value is just because I have added an entry there, I think. So yeah, I've added an entry. No, in destructor I have added an entry, so that's why it got printed. Okay, I'll just repeat it. And so white box, or I would say so. Okay, so what do you want to enter? 2678. I enter 2678. So it just printed 2678. Okay, whatever you have entered is stored inside it and it got printed. See, so what does it mean? So when you create a constructor, you can call some functions using which you can initialize the contents. Okay, and once the initialization done, you can do some operation like you want to print the contents, you can print it. And once the scope ends, the object will be destroyed. Okay. So for any doubts on this?
Yes, you have done that int value one. In array also same thing it is happening.
Yeah, I'll show you that.
Yeah.
So now I will create array of 3. Now since it's array of 3, what we need to do? We would need to print 3 times. So what we would do? Auto LEMENT instance. Okay. LEMENT. Okay. So you guys are able to understand this code, right? So I created an instance of 3. 3. I created an array. Now I am just for looping through that and printing the contents. Okay, now let me compile. So let me do, what should I do? Okay, I just made it. Just so it is asking for value for first one. So 267 is the value for first one. Now you see here const created means when it was trying to create the first in the array first element it was trying to create, right? It asked me to enter the value for the first object. Okay, the array initialization itself is not done. Now the second object inside the array got created. Okay, now please enter value for identity. Now what I will do, 145. So 145 is the content in the second one. Now the third object is getting created. Now I'll enter some value, 897. Now you see whatever that I have entered, 267, 145, 897. In the same order they got created, and when you iterate through them, they got initialized, and the contents were also printed when I'm looping through the for loop. And in the same order they got destroyed. No, the destruction will be in opposite order. Okay, I'll show that as well. So far, any
So,
questions?
sir, by while loop also you can use that one, right?
You can use while loop, while
So
loop,
in for
anything.
loop you did, right? While
Uh,
loop also you can do that.
I did. You can do it
So
on for
means
loop.
in while loop same syntax will become or
While
different
loop
syntax.
may different, right? While loop may it would be different syntax. It is just like C. So this is uh, for instances. I will rename them for our class. Okay, clear, right? Instance for only one object got getting created. Here
Okay.
instances for an array. Okay, now you see the object getting created 0, 1, and 2. Now we'll discuss about how the objects get destroyed in the array. So the index 0, 1, and 2 you will have, right? So we'll try to print the contents in the destructor. Now to identify which one is getting destroyed first. Okay, so okay, before that I'll explain you the destructors. Okay, so so far any doubts on these constructors? How a constructor, why, what is the importance of the constructor? So syntax, just copy paste them twice and just do whatever functions that you want to do inside. That's it. Okay, okay, and then I'll take that as a no. Okay, so that I'll introduce you to a destructor, then I'll introduce you to a parameterized constructor. Okay, so first thing is I'll remove virtual. I'll tell you the reason why we need. So destructor is like destructor tells you or destruction is a way you destroy an object, right? So the way you created an object, you wanted to destroy it also. So you can define the methods. So generally, the destructors become important when you have pointers. Okay, when you have pointers here, okay, int ptr star ptr, and you did some initialization in your constructors, then you can do a free here. So in your constructor, you would have done malloc. in your destructor you can free only this guy and close it. Okay, or whatever the data that you have here, right? You want to store it somewhere. Okay, store to some other variable or write to some file and then exit, right? So that and all you can define it here. Okay, so it is like before you destroy this guy, right? If you want to take backup, take it, or you want to release the resources that you have acquired, okay, you can do it here. Because once the object is destroyed, right, there is no way you can have the data that it had earlier. So to define that, we would write destructors. Okay, the syntax is you follow this tilt and the constructor, the name, whatever they will have. Now, how we do write in a CPP file? The definition is here. So it is similar to this. Only thing you would put a tilde on top of it. Okay. Then you can.
Sir, one doubt.
Mhm.
For inserting, we are required that constructor, right? Means insert anything else to the function.
Insert
That
or
constructor
initialize.
required. No,
Initialize.
insert
Insert. What do you mean by insert?
means see, I have studied that linked list. In linked list, if you insert a node, means initial stage or middle stage or the last stage,
Hmm.
we can use this construct word, right? Construct the node and using that malloc one. You
You
told,
can
right? If
do
you
that,
are
but
using that constructor, you need to malloc.
you can do that, but where
Okay.
now that thing comes is linked list is an separate object, but
Mm-hmm.
class is a like a structure, right? You will have a structure. So now you will have functions to create and destroy linked list. So linked
Mm-hmm.
list becomes a separate class which will have objects of classes, different classes. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you
No,
can have
I
it.
have used that coding, no, so that's what makes sense.
Agreed.
For
So
a
whatever
deletion, you can use that one. You can use the destructor or not. So that is my
you
question.
can
For the
definitely use it.
deletion one.
You can
Mm-hmm.
use it, but whether what you would have is here you would have head. Okay. Then I mean head pointer you will have. Then what your constructor will do, it will just initialize your head. That's all. But inside that you will have
Yes, sir.
functions to add node, delete node, add node, delete node. So whenever you call add node, you would
Mm-hmm.
create a separate object
Mm-hmm.
and you will increment your head and go on down. So
Mm-hmm.
during destruction,
Mm-hmm.
if it will release or first it will go forward, delete and come back. So that looping you can do again and again. So you can use use the constructor and destructor for what should I say? Constructor for initializing the head to null and destructor to release
Mm-hmm.
all the items in the linked
Deletion.
list. Yeah, first you need to release all the
Okay. Okay.
elements and then you destroy the main class. Okay, so linked list
Mm-hmm.
can have only ints or it can have classes. Okay, linked list of ints, linked list of characters, linked list of structures, something like that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
So using class you can do any of them. Okay, coming
Okay.
back. Okay, now the importance of the destructor or how the destructor behaves, we'll see. So destructor is used to destroy the object, but the destruction happens, what should I say, from end to bottom. Okay, so here if you see we have three items. Okay, three elements in this array. Okay, now how this get destroyed? Like the object 1, 0, 1, 2 gets created. Now destruction starts from bottom 2, 1, and 0. I'll show that. Okay, the same code. wherein what did I did? Uh, I am just printing the identity. So whatever you saved, whatever the data that you collected in the constructor, will just print during the destruction. See, please enter a value. So we'll put some index 111 for second object will. Okay, I think we'll wait for Lipsa, I think. Mister. Uh, Guru and Ruchi Smita, you are able to follow, right? You guys don't have any doubts?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Currently, no.
Yes, sir.
This is entirely new.
okay.
Are
I think
able
most
to
some
follow.
of you know. I think so. I think Lipsa and Guru, both of you know, I guess, some part of C++. So, okay,
No, for me, it's totally new C++.
okay. But you are able to follow, right? What I'm trying to say, or
Uh,
you are finding very difficult.
yeah, nothing as such. I'm following. Also, I'm referring some YouTube videos also along with this
Yeah.
to
See,
understand.
only way to understand is practice. Like you do your theory in the morning, then practice in the evening, then you learn it. Else, it's gone. So it's like you attend your fire session training, and you don't get to do firefighting. So after a few days, you forget what you have learned. It's going to be like that. Okay, I'll come back. So what we did here is
Mhm.
I entered 111 for the first and 222 for the second and 333 for the third object. Okay. Now our for loop क्या करेगा? Our main loop, what it does, it created the object. Now it printed the content. उसके बाद destructor will be auto inserted by the compiler and it would be called. Okay. See here print value, it iterated 111 222 333. You get the result 111 222 333. See, but the destruction you see, it is 333 222 111. Okay, so what got created at the end gets destroyed at the first. Okay, so you guys are able to follow, right?
Means LIFO method.
Yeah, or LIFO method or stack unwinding कैसा होता है, जैसे डाले वैसे out, first in first out,
Last in,
last
first
in
out.
first out.
Last in.
Sorry, last in first
Yes.
out,
Yes.
the same way. Okay, so this is the one which I wanted to explain on the constructor on destructor. Okay, so the main part. Next, I'll enter into parameterized constructors. Okay, so or different. Okay, the best thing is parameterized constructor. Okay, so far what we did is, you said I wanted to build it in a way where I want to collect data from the user. Okay, user input करेगा the content of the data, will mean the variables inside it will be initialized in it. What if someone wants to say, no, I don't want, okay, the data to be collected by the input. Let me feed it. Okay, let me feed it. Matlab, when creating the object, okay, I'll collect, or when someone is trying to, okay, when someone is trying to create an object itself, I'll take the value and input it. Okay, or what this is called. parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor means you are calling a constructor with some parameter. Okay. Now whether you use it for initialization or you do something else, okay, that is up to you. Okay. But here हम क्या करेंगे? For us, we will use it to initialize this guy. Okay. So तब क्या होगा? This will not be called directly. This function will be called. Okay. So we'll write that. So this is the code for that. So you have the constructor. The syntax will be same, but since it was taking a parameter, you are just declaring it int of val identity val. Okay. So generally, how a C way of doing is, sorry. Okay, that's fine.
So
Okay,
we can say that argument also, right? Or is different. This one is parameterized. Is
argument
different.
or parameter, it's the same.
Yeah. Same,
Argument,
right? Yes.
argument matlab, generally argument matlab here, whatever you pass here, right? That is what we would call it as arguments.
Yeah, and declaration part.
So here in your main, whatever you get, right, that we call it as arguments. But inside functions, like we would say parameters or something like that. It refers. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not. I can't give any judgment on that. What is what? Okay. So if you see in this case, right? Forget this. So you are taking a variable and you are initializing them. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Okay, so you are initializing it and you can print it. Whatever that you got initialized, it gets printed here. Okay, then what is not required, it is already initialized. So here we did cin, right? We are not doing any cin. We are just taking them as a parameter. Okay, so we'll do this. I'll comment this out. What value you want to give? 2. Okay, so this is the syntax. I mean, this is the moment you see this, right? So I think in starting I have given you the function overloading, right? Like by increasing number of arguments, right? You would call different functions, but even though the functions will have the same name. Okay. So you see here, you are saying const test, but you are passing parameter here. Okay, to the variable that you created. Instances के अंदर 222. Okay, but this will call constant का parameterized constructor. Okay, this function will be called. So we'll rename it const dest का parameterize. Okay, can't remove it for our reference. Okay, let's see what happens. No matching function to path. Okay, I didn't save the files. Okay, now they are saved. See, the code got compiled. Okay, no issues. Now we'll just see here constructor, parameterized constructor. See, I didn't do any input. The data is just taken. and you printed it and the object got destroyed. Okay, this is one way of creating the object where you pass parameters to initialize them, okay, as we want. Okay, so for any doubts on this? Okay, think. Okay, so I'll continue on this next. Okay, constructor हो गया, destructor हो गया. Okay, let's see whether I can do an array initialization with this. क्या ये होएगा होता. Is it possible? Really possible or not? I'm just trying to check. Array must be initialized with embrace initialization. Got created. Okay, okay. First object only got initialized. Let's see. All three got compiled. Okay. So what do we understand from this? Okay, not just one object. You can initialize an array. You can create an array. You can initialize them as well. Okay, and you can enter the contents. Okay, so as many entries you have, you can enter them. Okay, so they all will be initialized. Okay, any doubts on this? So all the three times what got called? Constructor. Parameterized constructor got called. Okay, parameterized constructor got called. Okay, and we try to print them and we try to destroy them. So the function, the parameterized constructor would have been will get called here. The print value is here, and the destructor would be auto inserted by the compiler. Okay, good, right? Any more doubts on this?
Sir, if you can you try once that array one will be 4, so that null value will be and printer or
This
yeah
one, this
4
is 4, right?
instead of 3.
Huh. So now what?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I wanted to cover that next. Okay, so here what happens is, right now you have 4 entries but 3 data. So now what
Yes.
here will happen, right? For first 3 objects, you will call this parameterized constructor. The fourth object, the default constructor will be called. Okay, so we can see that here. Right, file got get saved. Now you see constructor 111, 222, 333. Okay, now for fourth one, it is asking for an input. Okay, now if you see your code, the default constructor may we have stdc where we are trying to collect the data from the input, from the user on console. So I would enter 444. and it iterated over the array 111, 222, 333, 444, and it got destroyed in the leaf order.
Okay. But it is not throwing that null one, right? Null is
Null,
not coming inside.
null मतलब null no, right? देखो, we have I mean the constructor के अंदर we have added this, right? Scene. That's why it is. Now if I remove this, right? Now if I remove this, okay, you are not initializing it to any value. Okay. Now HPP में देखो, you have not set to any value. So what does it mean? It can have some garbage value. Okay. Now we'll demonstrate this also. So for the fourth object, okay, for the fourth object, you are not collecting or you are not initializing it. But what happens? The object gets created and it will try to print the contents. Now inside the contents, what it can have, it can be, it's like a guess. So please enter a value, it said, but it didn't wait. Okay. So the junk value, it got printed
But it is
3270.
showing that 32707.
It is the
So which
junk
value it
value.
is? Okay.
It's some just a junk value. See now what it has, 32715.
Whatever the value.
So it is just junk. Okay, it is just junk. Okay, it is not constant. If you see, it's changing every time. Okay, so to avoid this, we have constructors, parameterized constructors, and go on and on. Okay, so now one more thing that I wanted to cover here is, so you can optimize number of lines here, right? So if generally what the best way of writing a parameterized constructor is, see, first of all, we would try to initialize them here. If not possible, if you want them to be passed as a parameter, what we will do, we will use this format. So we don't need to write anything inside the function. We would say, we will just put a single colon here, and then we will say ident is equal to, is like it is like a, what should I say? If you see here, right, what we did, instances of 222, right? Instances of 222. What it will do, it will call this one's constructor. Okay. So it is like this. Assume as if though int is a integer, identity is an integer, you are passing them like a constructor. So assume this is as a class. So you are in calling another class parameterized constructor. So it is just initializing. Okay. So if you have more than one variables, okay, like how you have identity. Now I have okay, some symbol here. Okay, I can initialize them. Okay, I can initialize them. Either I can take them as a parameter. Okay, I can put a parameter here and initialize it, or in this parameter initialize itself, I can have it. So okay, now will can print it here. Okay, what it will print? It will print what are the value that you have given, followed by this constant that I have assigned. Okay. It's in the main. Step does not have any field name some symbol because I didn't say. Yeah, I didn't say. Okay, let me look. So now if you see here, I have only initialized this array. Fourth object I have not initialized. Let me initialize it. So only the int part of it got initialized. This is something like constant, okay, which we are initializing here. So it got made. Now it got printed. See, 111, 222, 333, 333 in the constructor. So whatever we have assigned in the array, here, whatever we have given in the array, that got assigned. Okay, that got assigned here. So we printed. So we gave the character as constant. It is taking it as constant. Say, okay, that is one. Let's see. See, in both the cases. So in this case, right, what happened? We called parameterized constructor. Okay. Now we'll remove one of the object and see what gets printed in this character. Now, the moment we remove one object, what will get called? It is not this. It is this for the fourth object. First three object के लिए parameterize. For fourth object, it will call default constructor. Now, default constructor is this. What are we initializing inside this? Nothing. We are not initializing identity. We are not initializing some symbol. Both of the variables we are not initializing. So it should print some junk. Okay. So it got built. See, it is printing some junk. See, for first three object 111, 222, 333. Fourth, there is no entry. Whereas here there was an entry. Now you see the contents are junk. Okay. Clear, right? On this.
Yes.
Okay. So one more way. Okay. We can do is, so can it take multiple parameter? Of course, yes. So whatever parameter that you want to take pass, you can give it here. Now it just will become here. So you can call this by using this, or let's have something like this. Let's not. Okay, let it be as it is. Let's have one more parameterized constructors. So I can have as many as I want. So what this guy would do, he will take two arguments and initialize both the contents. Okay. So since it is something new, its compiler doesn't know, we'll add it here. Okay. So the second parameterize this is the second parameterized constructor which we have declared. Okay. So we'll keep it as it is. We'll not touch this guy. So what we will do? So this guy will take a symbol, right? So what symbol can we give? Hash. I have given hash. Okay. Let me comment this out. So I am creating an object which will have 222 followed by hash. If I didn't compile the file, save. Save. Okay, so it got built. See, parameterized. What did it call? It called parameterized constructor 222. Okay, we didn't add any entry here. Unity content. Okay, with the two params. Okay, see, it called parameterized constructor with the two parameters. 222. Oh, I didn't print the hash. Okay, here. So, but when we print the values, it is just printing it and it is destroying. That's all. Okay. Any doubts on this? So can we have an array of this as well? Yes. So let's see. How would you initialize an array? Okay, this is B and end it. And C and end it.
So each variable we can construct.
Yes.
Oh,
D and end it. So the game here is only on how you are passing the parameter pura funda. Okay.
okay.
So the first object that you are passing will have this 111 followed by A, and the character will have A, and it goes on and on. So instances, what can we do? Two param. Okay, two param instances. Okay, so let's see. So this guy will have, this guy will call int wala, this guy will call the other one, this guy will call the, this guy will call the two parameter. He will call the two parameter in 4. See all the rest. Ah, good. It got compiled, no bugs. Now you see, the first one was 111, 222, 333, 444. See our code. Where is our code? Yeah, 111, 222, 333, 444. The next one is 222 hash. Where is it? Here. 222 hash. The other one. Okay, now what is the fourth one? 111 A, 222 B, 333 C, 444 D. Yes, 111 A, 2B, C, D, same. Okay. So this is something which C++ provides, wherein you can write a function to initialize it, or you can initialize them as you want here. Okay, you can actually call some functions also here. Some function which will return a character, and that value also you can pass will be used to initialize it, this object. Okay. Good, right? Any questions that you guys have on this? Anything more
No.
clear, right? Okay. So these examples are enough, right? Or these are too much?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll save this and push. I will save this and push. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, can. It's not putting. This is just for the notes. Okay. I'm saving it. See, is it compilable? Declarations, instances. Okay. I think this should compile. Okay, this is going to ask me input. I have no patience in that. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll push this one. Okay, I'll just delete this folder also. Then I can push. Okay. Next, what should I cover? Constructor, destructor, anything that I missed in parameterized constructor. Okay. Okay. Next one would be parameterized constructor. We have done. Okay, this is some other example. Okay, that is deep. I'll go to the. Okay. Next we'll have go through setters and getters. Okay. So what are these setters and getters functions? Okay. Setters are getter functions. They are like additional functions which you write to modify the contents that you have. Okay. So using which mean you want to modify the contents or you want to print the contents. Okay. So using those we call it as setters and getters. Setter means a function using which you are trying to set the content of a class. Okay. So maybe I'll remove this all the three files. We will continue with the same example that we have. have them. Okay, good. So okay, so assume that I want to change the content of any one of the variable. Okay, I want to provide an interface through which I want to change the content of this, okay, to our user or anyone. So what I can do is I can write a function like set symbol, and you can pass whatever the argument that you want. Okay, sim to it, and just leave it. Okay, and using this now, so generally uh, we would like to define this inside a C file, inside a .h file itself. Okay, because it is just small. Okay, so we would just use it here itself, in a .h file itself, so that we can, should I say, we can reduce the number of lines here. Okay, what is happening here? Okay, semicolon. Okay, so since this is a single line, right? What happens is that whenever compiles sees it now, it would like to replace it, or it's like inline. There is something like inline. Uh, in inline. Okay, so since it is just a single line and it has no logic or no arithmetic operations or anything, whenever compiler tries to when a compiler sees this function, it will replace this with this. I mean, I'm saying it will try to. It is not an assurance. It will just try to replace it. Okay. Now we have this is how you would write a setter using which you take arguments and set the particular element that you want. Okay. Now getter means something which will get you the value. Okay. Now get symbol. Now what is the type of this? Okay, it's a character. So you would put the data type for it. Now what you will return? You will return it. Okay. So in both the cases, you would it's better to use inline so that compiler whenever sees them, they will replace them with this. Okay. So why would we do a setter and getter function is okay to hide the variables from the user space. Okay. In the user environment, right? We don't want anyone to do something like this dot set symbol. Sorry, we don't want anyone to do something like this. Okay, in order to avoid such calls, we give setters and getter functions. So using which what we can do, the contents of them will be set and you can print them. Okay. So this is just basic, okay, writing and setting and getting. Only the importance is in a setter and getter is you should use this inline thing so that your code is optimized. Okay, that's all.
Sir, why that one you are giving that for set is
Setters and getters are
inline
inline.
void and inline cat?
So
So
inline.
every time.
So
Mhm.
whenever you say inline for a setter and getter function, okay, whenever compiler sees code like this, right? Okay, set symbol of this, it will try to replace this with this operation. Okay, ये जाके इधर बैठेगा. So you are not doing any function call. Okay, the compiler can re. Okay, okay, I'm back. So it is just a way to tell your compiler to optimize your code. Okay, rewrite your code करने के लिए you can tell them. Okay, so compiler can optimize this part of the code.
So here set symbol will be replaced with yes, right?
Yeah, set symbol will be replaced with what should I say? The assignment part. So whatever the expression that you give here, right? Symbol is equal to symbol, okay, or some function, okay, something like that of. So this is what a compiler would try to do. It's not a guaranteed, but it would try to do it. If it is possible, it will try to do it. That's what the
So we
importance
can
of
give
inline.
any type of data type, right, sir? Means char, int, uh,
As a
float,
parameter,
any type of data type we can give.
parameter, right?
Yes, that's data type. Yes.
And this you can do anything. You are, but only thing when you are trying to take an int and copy the contents of into
You
a
should give that integer value.
हाँ
Mhm.
int लेके
Oh.
character में set कर रहा है. Okay, that is not correct. I mean, technically,
Yeah,
okay,
that is I
character like int.
understood. But only that question is that void can, why are you setting that
Void,
value? Void.
void. Okay, I'll tell you why void. See, setter matlab it doesn't need to be a void. Okay, it is just I have given it as void. See, set symbol will try to copy contents to integer. Okay, so this object is already there. Int matlab it's a local variable. So the moment class gets
Hmm.
created, this gets created. So you can directly copy the contents to it. Okay. Without this is a 100% executable instructor. This will never crash. Okay. So now, what if this is a pointer? Okay, and you are trying to take a character and then say star is equal to this. Okay. Now this can crash, right? If this was a pointer. If this was a pointer and you are trying to
Yes.
assign the contents to somewhere, it can crash. Okay. In such
Okay.
cases, you would not put void. You can use something else.
Mhm.
Okay, that is your user-defined function.
Okay.
So it's up to you how you write your setter and getter functions. Similarly,
Mhm.
the getter, if you are trying to get the value and if your pointer is null, so what is the point in returning null or something? So you can pass some errors there.
Mostly for set symbol, we can go for the void one, and for get symbol, you can take anything else.
You
Means whatever that
get
character,
means the
integer,
data
whatever.
type. Data
Hmm.
type. You can put char or auto.
Yes.
In modern languages, you can put auto.
Hmm.
Okay, so you don't need to
Mhm.
specifically say it will compiler will put the data type by
Okay.
itself. Okay, so that's it. I wanted to cover. Hey, any uh, thing else that you want to? Okay, let me compile this. What was the folder name for settler select? Okay, please enter a value. I mean, it is for integer now. So for integer, okay, please enter some symbol. Okay, pressed enter s constant. We run it again. This is for integers. Please enter some symbol. Some symbol mean that character. I wanted to make it as R. Okay, the character you initialized it to R, but you called that set symbol function in which you are trying to set it as S. The result came as S. Okay, so what I wanted to, so okay, what gets called here? So the default constructor part. So the default parameterized constructor, what we have written, we are trying to get the input via user. Okay, so I think it created some confusion for us. We'll just let's what we did. Okay, so this would help us. So what this will do, this will call the default one where you take input from user and you are going to print it, right? Take input from user, print. Yes, here you override them. Override the values. Okay, print the symbol. Print whatever that you want to print. You don't need to use print value to print all. Okay, and you can just print what you are trying to change. And for confirmation, we can print it again. So what will this do? Let's make. So enter the current value of tomorrow identity is 1. Enter the identity for symbol. I'll make it capital R. So what it did, it I have my user input was R. Okay, it printed 111 and R. Now let's set R overwriting. You used a setter function to overwrite the contents. Okay, which is yes. So the contents are 111 and S. Now the object got destroyed. When it got destroyed also it had 111 and S. Okay, this is what I had.
So why that is coming S? Means it
Let's
is
set them as maybe let's set them as there is a setter function. Get symbol, get symbol.
no, that one only, I think so. The constructor destructor or CPP one. Yeah. Yes, yes.
Let's set them
Set.
as
This one is coming. That instance set symbol S. This is only coming.
maybe some what did I do? Here we have written stdc out, right? Whatever this guy got set, it is printing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why now that will come in new line. See, let's set them. The set value is S.
Yes.
I will print. Okay. Okay. I think this should be enough for today. Okay, that's all, guys. I had for today. So I'll save them. I'll upload it to the same G drive. Maybe you guys can go through this.
Yeah,
Okay.
push them once. This one.
Yes, sir. I'm just pushing it now itself.
Yeah. I'll try.
Okay. now other folder and getters constructors Okay, this is something for you guys. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is what you would need. Okay, rest will come out tomorrow. I'll just push them. What is that?
Monday, right?
Yeah, we'll have it on Monday. We will not have anything for tomorrow. Okay, I think I'm just pushing it. You guys can drop. Bye. Thank you guys. Thank you all. I'll just push it right away.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.